Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Here I am at Alhambra Palace in Granada, the beautiful, the magnificent Alhambra Palace. So inshallah we will be looking at Alhambra Palace today. We have been to Seville, we've been to Cordoba, we've been to Medina al-Zahra, and here we have Alhambra Palace on top of Granada, the city of Granada. You can see it there at distance. That's the city of Granada, and these are the towers of the palace. Inshallah, we'll be looking at more of it from inside. We've heard a lot about its beauty, aesthetics, calligraphy, artwork, carvings, architecture, you name it. This is a masterpiece. This is one of the wonders of the world. You can see the gardens there at distance. So this was built initially by the Zirid dynasty, and then by 1250s another dynasty replaced the Zirid dynasty, called the Nasrid dynasty. The Nasrids came to power in the mid 13th century, 1250s, when the northern cities in Al-Andalus or central Spain, Seville, Valencia, Cordoba, they fell to the Christians as a result of a battle that took place in northern Spain, called the Battle of Las Navas de Tolosa. As a result of that battle, most of the Muslim capitals in central Spain fell to the Christians, including Cordoba, Seville, and Valencia. And then another dynasty came about called the Nasrid dynasty here in Granada, that was going to last for another almost 250 years, till 1492, until Isabella and Ferdinand, a coalition of Castile and Aragon, took Granada from the Muslims in 1492, and that was the same year when Christopher Columbus parted from Spain to discover the Americas. So here we have Alhambra Palace. We are going to visit the Summer Palace first. The very first palace that was built in 1360s. And here we have the walls. It's a beautiful view. The walls of Alhambra Palace. This city, or this city-state, you can say, was taken in 1492. In 1492, this was taken from the Muslims, from the Nasrid dynasty. The last king was Abu Abdullah, also known as Bobdil in Western sources. He had capitulated through terms of treaty, which were all broken later on. Every single term was broken by the Catholic monarchs here, Ferdinand and Isabella, and Muslims are forced to convert to Catholicism. They were given two choices: die or convert to Christianity. And many of them forcefully converted, at least in public, and in private they were practicing Islam in their own way. We will talk more about that. Very painful history of Granada, the fall of Granada. All promises were broken. The Catholic authorities brutalized the Muslims here. There were bishops sent here like Cisneros, who tortured Muslims to accept Catholicism by force, and many of them unfortunately accepted, and then they were handed over to the Inquisition. The Inquisition was a very notorious institution that was basically established to torture those who did not follow the teachings of the Catholic Church. Torture to death in some cases, torture to conversion, forced conversion, and all sorts of things. If Muslims are found to be praying in their homes, or if they were found to be possessing any Islamic books, they were handed over to Inquisition for torture, and many people were tortured severely. So we're going to be talking more about that in due course. We're going to go inside the palace and show you some beautiful carvings and artwork. Until then, Assalamu alaikum. Okay everyone, here we are in the Summer Palace, the earliest compound built within the Alhambra Palace. This was built in the 13th century, in the mid 13th century, 1200s. Soon after the Nasrids took power in Granada. This garden is of course new. When I say new, it's been renovated. It's been built to this condition later, but the carvings, the artwork, the aesthetics are from the 13th century. It's a beautiful place with beautiful artwork, absolutely amazing work. And you can see the remaining part of Alhambra Palace that was built later on there at distance. These were later additions made by later sultans over time within the 14th century. So where I am standing right now is the oldest part of Alhambra Palace. This was the first compound built by the sultans, and this was also called the Summer Palace. You can see the artwork there. It's absolutely magnificent.
A full view of the Alhambra. Okay, so they're having a good time in summer, but at the same time, they're making sure everything's okay. They have a nice breeze coming from the back.
And just behold, Allahu Akbar. Just look at that. Just look at that artwork. These carvings. This is made of cast, but even to do this carving, even in the dye that casts this stuff, it's unbelievable. And the formula La Ghalib illallah all over the palace. La Ghalib illallah. Aesthetically, this is unbelievable. And you know, when you stand here in person, there is nothing like it. Absolutely amazing piece of work. Just imagine being here in person. This was done over 700 years ago. SubhanAllah.
Everything, like everything that you can, all the glass around you see, some of it is not original, some of it is.
There is Arabic calligraphy on the wood panels as well, touching the roof.
Carved on the wood. Okay, on the wood on the top.
There are masterpieces of Arabic calligraphy. Just look at this room overlooking the valley, overlooking the city. Allahu Akbar. Look at the roof. It's absolutely magnificent. So this is the earliest part built in Alhambra Palace in the 13th century, and later on there were more additions made. So this is absolutely mind-blowing. Even the woodwork was mainly oak wood used. The roofs are absolutely magnificent, and they survive to this day. Okay everyone, we are now entering the main palace, which was built in the 14th century, later than the palace we just saw. Okay, and look at the aesthetics. Unbelievable beauty. This was the hall of Sultan, where Sultan would sit. It was like an audience hall for the Sultan. And most of this stuff, most of these carvings are from the 14th century. And look at the messages on the walls. Al-mulku lillah, al-qudratu lillah, al-izzatu lillah. And there we see La Ghalib illallah. Wala ghalib illallah. This formula has been inscribed all over Alhambra Palace over 90,000 times. Over 90,000 times. And there is a surprise room in this palace which is absolutely amazing. Look at these geometric patterns on the walls. And just look at that. Allahu Akbar. SubhanAllah. Look at this aesthetic beauty. Absolutely breathtaking, overlooking the city. So the royal family would be sitting here. And this is a place to pray for the Sultan. This is the Musalla. That's the Mihrab, as you can see. This is the private Musalla of the Sultan. So this is, as you can see, is an absolutely breathtaking place, built with a lot of care. Just look at this. Room upon room carved. Basically, this is all plaster work made of casts. But even to do calligraphy of this, Wala ghalib illallah. Wala ghalib illallah. It's all over the palace. No one overpowers except Allah. Or no one is victorious except Allah. And his coat of arms, again with the same formula, La ghalib illallah. So everyone, I'm sorry for some people who are not fully dressed. That's not my problem. This is not my doing, so please do forgive me for that. It's very difficult to blur. I'm trying to avoid as much as I can. So this is another room that is absolutely amazingly beautifully carved. This is Alhambra Palace in Granada. Made by or built by the Nasrid Sultans of Granada. And this all fell into Christian hands, Catholic hands in 1492, and then started forced conversion and inquisition of the Muslims. The Muslims were then called the Moriscos. They were then called the Moriscos, and lo and behold, wow, this is a courtyard. Just try to envision this in its true glory when it was made. It's so beautiful now. Imagine when it was built back in the 14th century, almost 700 years ago. Unbelievable. That's again, La ghalib illallah wa la ghalib illallah. No one is victorious except Allah. No one is victorious, or no one overpowers except Allah. No one dominates except Allah. There are different translations of this formula. Wala ghalib illallah. Allahu Akbar. And there is Arabic poetry all over Alhambra Palace, like this one. You can see here. There are tributes to the sultans. This is the coat of arms. Wala ghalib illallah again. Just look at the amount of carving and amount of calligraphy, hard work has gone into this. These doors have been hand carved by
This is my favorite one here. It says,
by wood carvers. Unbelievable. And now we're entering the main hall, which is one of the masterpieces of this palace. And brace yourselves, everyone. Not this one. I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about this hall. It is a masterpiece of Islamic architecture. There is nothing like this in the whole world. Absolutely nothing. This is the ceiling. As you can see, just behold the calligraphy. Okay, everyone, I just want you to behold the aesthetics of this space. Unbelievable. This is the main audience hall of the Sultan, where he would receive delegations, ambassadors, would issue decrees, and this is a masterpiece of artistic beauty, calligraphy, carving, mold work, cast work, you name it. An absolute masterpiece of Islamic architecture and calligraphy. There you have it, Wala Ghalib Allah. And there we have Kufic calligraphy underneath. So there are different styles of calligraphy all over the palace, and it's quite deliberate. As you can see, that calligraphy is different to the one you saw just now. Wow. The name of the Sultan is there on the wall as well. We can see the name of the Sultan there. Is Al-Mawlana Al-Sultan Al-Malik Al-Mujahid Abu Al-Hajjaj. His name is there, the one who got this hall built. Allah have mercy on them. So everyone, this is the great audience hall of Alhambra Palace, where the Sultan would sit and issue decrees and appoint governors, declare war, make peace, make treaties, you name it. And it was made to send shock waves or impress the visitors with a sense of awesomeness. And this is absolutely amazing, and it does exactly that. If you look at the roof, the ceiling is just absolutely magnificent. I'm going to go back to the courtyard. Just behold the aesthetic beauty of this arch. And there we're going to enter the Court of Lions, the famous Court of Lions. There is the door there. We're going to enter from that door, and it takes us to the Court of Lion with lions, 12 lions around a marble basin, and you will see what I'm talking about. The arches are absolutely breathtaking there. Lo and behold, we are about to enter the Court of Lions, the famous Court of Lions. Very, very famous place. It is possibly the most famous and well-known feature of Alhambra Palace. But before we get to the Court of Lions, we see this. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. Some say that this place was not made by human beings, because this beauty is not easily created. Wala ghalib Allah, in the name of the Sultan. So now we are entering the famous Court of Lions. This is what we call the Court of Lions. Just look at that, everyone. Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. These are the so-called 12 lions of the Court of Lions. Basically, this served as a fountain. This was a courtyard for the sultans to spend their time with their family. And it's filled with rooms, magnificently carved, such as this one. These would be the bedrooms of the sultans, the Nasrid sultans of Granada. All of this fell into the hands of the Catholics, and if this was destroyed, we would never know what it looked like. Just look at that. Look at that. Absolutely amazing beauty. This is unbelievable, everyone. Why am I sharing this with you, everyone? Why am I making this vlog? I'm making this vlog so that you can understand what it's like to be on the ground. Actually, you cannot understand. You will have to be on the ground to be able to properly appreciate this. Camera can never do justice to this beauty. You must come on the ground, visit Spain with us. Halal Getaways. Go and check out the website halalgetaways.com. There are future dates. Okay, we are doing one in December, this coming December 2025. Okay, with a tour to Turkey to see Ottoman history. Back to back, we will do two tours, one to Turkey, one to Spain in December. You're most welcome to join either one of them or both of them. Okay, and when you come with us, we will be explaining the history and the context to what you see here. This is unbelievable beauty. There are depictions of sultans here as well. The sultans who ruled Granada once upon a time. I'm going to see if we can see those sultans now. Yes, hopefully we can see some of their images, or perhaps they are being renovated. This may be the part where the sultans' images are. This part is being renovated, there's work being done, but there are some depictions that we may be able to see from that period. Okay, so here there are some hunting scenes of the sultans making hunt. This is one of the sultans who might have ruled Granada. So that's a ceiling. And similarly, there are paintings or depictions of sultans here on this side as well. I don't think we can see them now. Maybe you might be able to see something. Yes, you can see a corner there. There are some images, depictions of sultans there. This side is being renovated. And this is the famous Alhambra Palace, built over 2 centuries, started in the mid 13th century, and works were still continuing until the mid 15th century. So for nearly 200 years this work was being done. This is Granada. This is the neighborhood called Al-Baisin, right opposite Alhambra Palace. Okay, today there is another masjid there that has been built by local Muslims, Spanish converts, people who are coming back to Islam in Spain. So they have a masjid there in this neighborhood where we're going to pray Jummah tomorrow, and I'm going to be vlogging from there as well. I'm going to show you that masjid. So it's a new beginning of Islam and Muslims in Spain, right? So this is the Court of Lions with all this amazing calligraphy. You cannot possibly have enough of this. This is unbelievable beauty. Just look at this. Everyone, just have a look at this. So inshallah, I'll be vlogging more from Al-Baisin neighborhood, and we will be visiting Al-Bukhara mountains, where the Muslims made the last stand. After Granada fell to the Christians, all treaties were broken, Inquisition was imposed against Muslims or upon Muslims, and one of the outcomes was that Muslims rebelled in 1501 to 1503. For 3 years Muslims launched this rebellion, and it was crushed, and all treaties were revoked, broken, and Muslims were given 2 choices, either to die or to get baptized. So where the Muslims made their last stands is a place called Al-Bukhara. Al-Bukhara mountains. We will be visiting those, inshallah. Until then, Assalamu alaikum. So this is the famous Court of Lion, as we saw earlier, everyone. An absolutely magnificent place. 8,000 people every day visit Alhambra Palace, and they have to put a stop to any more because the monument is in danger of getting damaged. So we're going to go to the room where Alhambra was reborn, and I will explain what I mean by that. And I'm not talking about this room, although this is attached to the Court of Lions. It's a magnificent room, like many other rooms in Alhambra Palace. You can see the absolutely amazing, beautiful art and architecture. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, this is another room attached to the Court of Lions, possibly a bedroom for the sultans. And there's a fountain here on the floor. The aesthetics of this place are absolutely breathtaking. But when I said Alhambra was born or reborn, I don't mean this room. As magnificent as it is, as beautiful as it is, I meant Alhambra was brought to the attention of the rest of the world, having been lost for nearly 400 years. Okay, and I'm talking about Washington Irving, who came and lived here, an American author who came and lived in Alhambra Palace for a while, and he wrote his famous novel, his famous work titled Tales from Alhambra. And I'm going to show you the room where he lived, and then brought the entire palace to the attention of the rest of the world, and it was protected. There were gypsies living here. Napoleon Bonaparte, when he took Spain, he wanted to blow up all of Alhambra, and he blew up some towers. Fires were put to the palace. 20% of the palace was burnt, and some Spanish soldiers put their lives at risk and saved the remaining, what remains of the palace today. So this is the room where Washington Irving stayed and wrote his Tales from Alhambra. You can see a plaque dedicated to Washington Irving in this room. So this room was clearly built later on. Okay, and we have an amazing view from here, from this very room, of the Al-Baisin neighborhood. And Muslims have built a masjid now in Alhambra after 500 years of absence. And that minaret in the middle, there are two minarets, one on the right and one on the left. These are towers, bell towers or church towers. But that one in the middle there, the white one, okay, is the minaret of a masjid now. It is now a masjid in this neighborhood called Al-Baisin, basically opposite Alhambra Palace on the hill. So this neighborhood now is a very beautiful neighborhood. It's overlooking, or Alhambra is overlooking the neighborhood. And now there's a masjid there, built by local Spanish reverts who are trying to reassert their Muslim past and their Muslim identity. So this masjid was built after 500 years of absence, Islam's absence in Granada, officially speaking. Okay. So there will be more from me tomorrow. We will be in Al-Bukhara mountains, where Muslims made the last stand, having been brutalized and all the treaties against them were broken. So they had to make a stand. They had to fight for their existence, to protect their religion. And for that, they took refuge in Al-Bukhara mountains. We will be there tomorrow, and I'll be talking more about it from there. Assalamu alaikum.